Hi, welcome to Demo Garage. I'm Steven, and in today's episode, I'm going to be telling you a sad story. The TVR has let me down a second time since I've owned it. I had taken it to work, and on a lunchtime errand, it just died on me. Bum, done. No sputter, no nothing. Took me 3.5 hours to get it home on a flatbed, and when I got here, I determined that the coil is no longer getting power. So now there's a possibility I could have figured out the wiring. It's a crazy mess. I'm disappointed I've got the dash apart, and I've decided it's time. It's time. I've got a new wiring harness from Advanced Wiring, and it's time to put it in. I'm done. I want to replace this wiring. I can't figure it out with the old stuff, and so I'll feel much better knowing that the new electrical is in. So in this episode, it might take a while, but I'm going to be installing a new wiring harness, and I appreciate you coming along for the ride. Thanks. Okay, yeah, it's one thing to know, what's wrong with the vehicle. The positive coil is not getting power when the key ignition is on. I was just sitting at a stoplight and the engine just stopped. I didn't screw around with, my knee hadn't hit any electrical inside the, up underneath the dash. Not sure what happened. Luckily, I had that successful trip down to San Diego for the car show, 110 miles each direction. But I'm at a point where I am so tired of this factory wiring that had been modified multiple times over the last 50 years, and I'm done. Got a new wiring harness, and I can't trace that wire. I'm running into issues. I've got the dash taken apart again. I don't know if you can see that through the windshield, but I have no idea if that's in focus or not, but I'm tired dealing with this mess. It's going to be much better when I replace this wiring harness, and I'll bring it back. So the time has arrived. I have finally received the wiring harness for my TVR. It's come in from Advanced Auto Wire. Steve has assured me that he's got additional length on it. It's traditionally the Triumph TR6 wiring harness that he provides, but as I told him it was for a TVR, he's extended some of the lines, so I'm hoping for the best. I have opened it, but I have not yanked it out of here. Comes with some instructions, I understand. I've been looking at the material online. I've got this huge bundle of wire to figure out. I think I'm gonna probably be pulling the bonnet off the TVR to give me better access, and then I'm gonna be kind of laying this out. So I have an idea of where I'm gonna install the major bundle, and let me show you what I was thinking about that. Okay, so don't tell Asako. My buddy and next door neighbor Skylar helped me carry the bonnet in the house. I think I can get away with this for maybe the better part of a month before she realizes part of the TVR, another part of the TVR is in the house. I've got the seats up there and a fuel tank, and don't judge. I've got a lot of stuff in here, but I'm not sure she'll know that the bonnet is sitting in here unless someone of you guys gives me away and tell you. So don't do that. Psh. All right, son of a bitch. figured out why this TVR left me stranded. And look at this. This wiring harness wasn't secured. And that white wire is the coil positive. So that just came down on that moving part of the engine, wore itself through. I've been kicking my ass trying to figure out why that coil positive wasn't getting power, you know, and I've been working under the dash, but I'm committed. I've got this new wiring harness. It's time to replace that, and stupid things like this won't happen because I'll have it secured well. Anyway, that's why it left me stranded. That's why I couldn't figure it out behind the dash what the issue was. Damn. Hope this doesn't happen to you. All right, I'll bring it back. Okay, so it's been a few days since I started this new project, and I thought pulling the old wiring out was going to be, you know, no sweat, but there's a lot more of it than I had expected. I've got some remainder of wiring still. This is the two wires that basically split for the electric fans. Then obviously the one that goes from the coil to the distributor. And then, let's see, inside the car, I've got, what do I have left? Let's see. This thick cable is the windshield wipers. These three go to the courtesy lamp. That's up there. What do these two go? Oh, I think these are electric. I think that's the blower motor underneath. And then these two, I think are probably this switch here. And so I've got similar stuff going on over there. I'll bring you back in a second for that. Let me just go and walk over there and I'll bring you back in the next clip. Okay, now I'm on the driver's side. The wiring I have left over is, let's see, I don't know. I need to look this up, but one of these bundles is going to be for turn signals. One of them is going to be for ignition switch, and that's probably, I'm guessing horn, not really sure. Then I've got a series of switches here that probably go to these two, and those are for courtesy lamp and I think this weird ignition lock that turns on a light. So let me bring you back in a second. Okay, so here's the vast majority of the wiring harness, and I finally have it fished through all the grommets and whatnot. And then there was quite a bit of stuff, obviously the battery, quite a bit of stuff that I pulled out along the way. So that's where I'm at right now, and I'm looking through the advanced wiring diagrams, and obviously it was set up for a Triumph TR6, so there's quite a bit of differences that I'm going to need to compensate for. So yep, I'll bring you back when I got something more to show you. Thanks. Well, this is the end of part one of the TVR wiring episode, and I've been thinking about how I wanted to end this clip, and whether or not I felt like the advanced wiring harness would be something that I would recommend to viewers. And I'm a little conflicted. I have shown a few products over the last few episodes, for example, the Color Tune. So I don't get, yeah, none of this was donated. I paid full price on it. Not that, this is never going to be a channel in which I'll make any money on. I'm basically just doing this to give, I guess, my advice or help other people attempting similar projects. And so with that being said, I thought I would go ahead and be fully honest and give, kind of describe how things happened with this. I want to say first off that the gentleman that makes this wiring harness appears to be going through some sort of a medical issue, and I'm sure that greatly contributed to the experience I've had. Emails started, I don't know, a few months ago, and I will say that my experiences, questions are slow to be answered. Several times an answer, came after a second email attempt or a phone call. Approximately a week is an average time to expect a response. And I did place an order, and without confirmation, I checked back in a week later and was told, sorry, I was busy. Yes, I got your order. When I first placed the order, the backlog was 6 weeks. And then, so I waited, and it was not a big deal. I was not planning to install this wiring harness in the near future. I was just trying to get it ready for the San Diego car show. Didn't think I'd have time to install it. It's going to be a month and a half for me to actually install this on weekends and evenings and whatnot. So it didn't really matter when it arrived. But for your information, I was given a 6-week backlog. And I reached out to Steve at Advance after 7 weeks and asked about it. And the reply came fairly late. I want to say, I'd have to look back at my notes, but approximately a week before he replied back to me saying he needed another 2 weeks. So what is that, 6? So 7 week, gets back to me on the 8th week, says he needs 2 more weeks. So now we're talking 10 weeks into before shipping. And then, so I waited another 3 weeks after that, I believe, to ask about it, and no response again. And a week after that, I get an email saying that my wiring harness is shipped. So if you're looking for a wiring harness, he's kind of the place to go, right? I mean, this is a wiring harness for a Triumph TR6, and I'm trying to install it in a TVR, and the switches are very unique. There's quite a bit of modification that needs to be done. So yeah, we live in this world where we're used to, Amazon bringing stuff the next day. I'm annoyed because I placed an order for some electrical terminals, and they didn't show up next day. I got an email saying, that they're delayed a day. So hopefully they'll come today and I can continue this project. But shouldn't be the case. I'm a proud Generation X guy, and I remember when you would order things out of the back of a magazine from Boy's Life or Popular Mechanics, and it would take 6 weeks, right? This delayed gratification makes things a little better in my opinion. But anyway, so it took quite a bit of time to get at least double the time that was estimated for the wiring harness to ship. That being said, I think aspects of the quality of the product
are high. I'm super impressed that you could get together all the correct wiring, and not having a huge background in British cars, but I'm starting to now realize that maybe some of the British marques, Triumph, maybe Jag, maybe Austin Healey, I'm not really sure, but it does appear that TVR used some of the same or all of the same wire coding. You know, this color with this band equals the right turn signal. So I'm impressed with being able to get high quality wire in all the right colors, and that's going to make things a lot easier to diagnose. The crimping of the terminals and the soldering all looks to be high quality, top rate. I am modifying this harness quite a bit, not quite a bit, a little bit, to designate one of the relays that was supplied to a different top, aspect. Speaking of the rear heat defroster on the window. So as I'm delving deep into this wiring diagram, I'm finding inconsistencies. And for example, on the relay, on the magnetic coil part, terminals 85 and 86, I find are flipped on all of them. And I wasn't 100% sure if that a polarity change on that was gonna be a problem. I was able to get contact with Steve, and he did call me back after a day and a half of trying. And it seems like a nice gentleman. And again, he's going through some sort of a medical issue, and apologize for not getting back to me sooner. But it appears that he does check every circuit. So, and I brought up, this inconsistency with the wires on the relays being swapped on the magnetic coil. And he said he's always done them that way. I don't think he even knew what I was talking about, but on his wiring diagram, in comparison to how the wiring is done, those terminals are flipped, and it appears that it doesn't make a difference. And he says he checks every circuit, so I'm good with that. I would also say that with the better part of 3 months of waiting for the harness, I did do a deep dive into his website, and I started doing the modifications, to make this into something that would work with the TVR. And I only just recently found out that the schematics on his website are not up to date. So bear that in mind, that the diagram that comes with the kit, and there are several, there's one in the instruction manual and a couple extra, this does not match what he has on his website. So I don't know how you deal with that. Maybe you could request him, if you're going to place an order and you want to start working on it sooner, maybe you can request an updated image. I'm not sure. I didn't realize that was a thing, and I feel like I wasted some time trying to figure things out with the diagram that he has on his website. So that's an aspect that you should be aware of. Another aspect I'm a little disappointed in is his instruction manual calls out Bosch part numbers for the relays, and so I assume that's what I was getting. And but all the relays are kind of this cheap Chinese shit. And when I asked Steve about that, he told me that Bosch doesn't make their own relays anymore. They've sold that company, and he hasn't had any problems with any of these, Chinese relays. And I'm sure that's true. But just be aware that even though the literature on the website appears like you're getting Bosch, you're not getting Bosch. So I'm sure they're just as good. I'm sure they're going to work fine. I would say I would recommend this harness, and especially because he's kind of the only shop in town, right? I mean, this would be an easier process if you were installing this on a TR6 and not needing modification. But everything is doable. You can teach yourself everything. This is not my first wiring harness. If you go back early episodes in my channel, I restored an old World War II tracked vehicle called a Bren Carrier, and I designed the wiring harness for that. And I had built in my youth, just out of high school, a Beck 550 Spider kit car, and I designed the harness from scratch on that one. So this would be, I think, a difficult project if you didn't have a good understanding of automotive electrical. So, but that doesn't mean if you don't that you couldn't teach yourself. I mean, that's what I did. So I think I've gone over everything I was going to bring up. So this is going to be the end of part 1, and part 2 is going to start with a little bit more detail in the modification I make. And I've got a couple interesting things, like I'm going to be changing the thermal switch on the radiator. I'm going to be hopefully I'll be successful in converting the let's see if I get this right. The current hazard switch on the TVR is, let's see, I'm gonna say this is a double pole, single throw, on-off switch, and the new wiring harness needs a hazard switch that is double pole, double throw, on switch, and the harness actually, here it is. The harness actually comes with the switch required for hazard, but it doesn't look like any of the other switches. So, and I cannot find a switch with these requirements in an old ugly rocker like this. So I'm gonna have a video of me trying to convert this into the double throw, single pole, double pole. Anyway, I'll get it figured out in my head when I do that video. So anyway, we have some stuff coming. This is probably going to be 3-4 episodes, and well, I appreciate you coming along. And if you're attempting this project, I wish you luck with it, and I hope that any mistakes I make, you won't fall into those pits. And well, thanks for joining Demo Garage.